In the next 15 seconds, trade your doubt for proof. Not later. Now. Decide that for 3 days, you will speak to yourself from the end and watch your world begin to answer you like an echo. If you can hold a steady inner conversation for 72 hours, you will not finish this week the same person who began it. This is not optimism, it is law. My dear friends, the most powerful secret in creation is your inner conversation. It is not the idle chatter that drifts through a tired mind. It is the deliberate word you speak within, the word that sets your state, and your state sets your fate. In the beginning was the word. That word is not far away. It is the tone of your own inner voice. You are the operant power. What you habitually whisper to yourself becomes the world you walk through tomorrow. You ask, how long must I wait? Give yourself 3 days of disciplined inner speech and see. 3 is completion in scripture for a reason. Hold the correct inner tone for 72 hours and you begin a reorganization both within and without. Not because chance is kind, but because consciousness is cause. Here is the method, exact and simple. Speak from the end. Do not talk about the desire as something hoped for. Talk as the person who already lives it. If you desire wealth, think and reply to yourself as one who is wealthy. If you desire health, speak as one whose body obeys. If you desire love, converse as one securely and deeply loved. The test is naturalness. If your words feel forced, soften the tone until they feel like home. Feeling is the secret, because feeling is what convinces the subconscious that the scene is real. On the first morning, before a muscle moves, open your day with the inner voice of your fulfilled self. I'm grateful for my abundant life. Money arrives easily and continuously. I enjoy the calm of being provided for. Do not chant mechanically. Say less, mean more. Let the feeling of done settle on you like a well-fitted coat. Throughout the day, guard the conversation. If the outer world speaks of lack, let your inner answer be abundance. If the outer world speaks of illness, let your inner answer be vitality. Do not argue with people. Revise yourself. Every outer conversation was first an inner one. Change the source and the echoes must change. At night, as you drift towards sleep, practice the lullaby method. Choose one sentence that implies your end is already yours. Thank you for my thriving business. Thank you for my perfect health. Thank you for the love that holds me. Repeat it softly and feel its quiet rightness until sleep takes you. The last thought before sleep continues speaking in the deep. If doubt intrudes, do not wrestle with it. Reply is said immediately and completely. If you catch "this isn't working," answer within, "everything is working perfectly. My world is reorganizing now." Do not let doubt linger. Your inner word is reality. Hesitation only slows the arrangement of events needed to fulfill what you have accepted. Let scripture illustrate the stance. David did not walk toward Goliath hoping. He spoke from victory. This day the Lord delivers you into my hand. Jesus did not weigh probabilities before stepping out. His inner conversation was mastery, and nature answered obeyingly. Jonah's 3 days mark transformation through completion. These are not museum stories. They are diagrams of consciousness. Precision matters. The law is exact. For approximately 72 hours after a true acceptance, the following pattern unfolds. In the first 24 hours, your new assumption roots itself. All reflex thoughts begin to loosen. You may feel oddly quiet inside, as if a noise just stopped. In the second 24 hours, the old self-concept dies. This can feel like discomfort. Do not diagnose it as failure. It is burial making way for birth. Hold your new tone. The seed is already alive. In the final 24 hours, the new feels natural. This is the resurrection of consciousness. You find yourself reacting as the person you chose to be, often before noticing you chose at all. Around this time, outer pieces begin to shift. People respond differently. Doors open that were not there. What looked like resistance reveals itself as rearrangement. Expect a bridge of incidents. You are not called to shove reality around. You are called to be faithful to a state. The bridge builds under your feet as you walk. Actions will arise that feel obvious and clean. Make the call. Send the note. Accept the meeting. Decline the distraction. Inspired steps are not heavy. They carry their own wind. Practice revision. If a past event still grips your heart, rewrite it within. See it end well. Feel the relief. Let the emotional charge dissolve. You are not falsifying history. You are removing the stale command that events still issues to your nervous system. Once the inner order changes, the present adjusts. Use triggers to maintain continuity. Each time you touch your phone, ask, what is my inner tone right now? Each time you cross a doorway, step as the fulfilled self. When you eat, bless your meal as one who lives in ease. When you pay a bill, pay as one who always has more than enough. No drama, quiet certainty. Guard your outward words. If asked how you are, answer from your end without theatrics. I am well. Things are unfolding beautifully. You owe no explanations. You owe your future, your fidelity. Be specific enough to feel real. Vague inner talk yields vague results. If you desire a home, hear the creak of the floor you love. Feel the key turn. Smell the wood after rain. If you desire a promotion, feel the chair that is now yours. Hear your name spoken with simple respect. If you desire health, move inwardly with the ease you miss, and let your body remember it. Understand detachment. Detachment is not indifference. It is the calm that follows a decision. Once you accept the end, you stop checking the oven every minute to see if the bread has risen. You live your day. The yeast is working. If appearances contradict you, read them correctly. The room looks worse before it looks better during a rearrangement. Boxes everywhere, dust rising, furniture out of place. Then the new order emerges and you wonder how you lived in the previous arrangement so long. Test the law with something small to train your faith. Imagine a particular message from an old friend. Imagine a certain phrase you will overhear. Feel the delight of it already done, then let it go. As signs follow, your confidence will move from concept to knowing. Remember this about action. The frantic kind springs from lack, and it multiplies itself. The natural kind springs from a settled end, and it completes itself. You will still work, often diligently, but without the metallic taste of strain. There is difference between rowing a shell in calm water and thrashing in a storm. Same oars, different sea. Now structure your 3 days. Morning. Before rising, affirm your identity from the end in a few sentences you can believe and feel. Rise and carry the tone into your first simple acts. Make the bed as the successful person. Shower as the healthy one. Brew your coffee as the loved one. Teach your body the new music day. Set gentle triggers. When your mind wanders, invite it back kindly, not harshly. If a challenge appears, answer from your end and move on. Keep your outward speech clean and minimal. Decline conversations that drag you into the old state. You are not rude. You are precise. Evening lullaby method. One sentence, present tense, saturated with gratitude. Let the body unclench while the mind rests in done. Sleep as the person who already is. If you slip, revise immediately. You are not a failure. You are in training. The only thing that matters is the tone you return to. Return quickly and often. Do not measure while you bake. The cycle needs all 3 days. Signs may appear early, or they may not. Either way, remain sovereign inwardly. The law is precise. It does not require your anxiety, only your consistency. Ask yourself often, who is speaking in me right now? If it is the smaller self, retire them gently. They kept you safe. They also kept you small. Bring back the voice that fits your future. A final word on certainty. Reality is obedient to consistency, not to mood, not even to talent. If you will show up inwardly like a law for 3 days, your world will answer like a student. Adopt the stance now and hold it quietly. You will feel the click when the new naturalness lands. After that, results are simply the proof catching up to the promise, so begin. Not loudly finally for 3 days, speak within as the one who already has. Walk your bridge without fuss. Let the reorganization look however it must. Give thanks in advance. And when the door swings open, do the simplest thing in the world. Walk through. Stay with me a little longer, because something subtle and decisive happens when you practice this faithfully. Your nervous system begins to prefer the new tone. At first, you will feel as if you are visiting a fine house that is not yours. Then one afternoon you will notice you are taking your shoes off without thinking, hanging your coat in its place, moving through the rooms like a rightful owner. That is what naturalness feels like. It is not fireworks. It is the quiet certainty of belonging. Ask yourself, what does the fulfilled version of me refuse to rehearse? Do they rehearse lack? Do they rehearse being overlooked, being late, being unlucky? Or do they rehearse a steadiness that has nothing to prove? The answer to that question sets tomorrow's weather. If you must have a ritual, let it be this. Before you speak aloud, listen for the tone within. If the tone contradicts your chosen end, do not scold yourself. Change the tone and then proceed. The world will notice the difference even if no one can name it. Consider a simple scene of wealth consciousness made ordinary. You stand at the counter to pay. The old tone whispers, "Be careful, this is tight." The new tone replies, "I live in ordered plenty. What I need arrives in season." You do not recite it with clenched teeth. You breathe once, let your shoulders drop, and you pay as one who expects life to replenish. A day later, a client remembers an overdue payment. A small refund appears. An introduction becomes a contract. Coincidence, says the impatient mind. Pattern, says the quiet law. Keep the tone and you will see which voice is honest. Consider a scene of health. You wake with a stubborn ache. The old tone announces, "Here it is again, I cannot shake this." The new tone speaks without drama, "My body knows how to repair. I move with ease." You choose water over noise, a walk over worry, a clean plate over a complaint. You are not pretending. You are cooperating with the intelligence that built you. By evening, you notice your breath traveling farther into the lungs. In a week, your sleep is lengthened by an hour. The body listens to conviction more closely than to complaint. Consider a scene of love. A message arrives later than you wished. The old tone drafts a story of being ignored. The new tone chooses a story of mutual regard. You answer warmly and go on with your work. No icy silence, no fishing for reassurance. You have turned a moment that once fed fear into a moment that feeds respect. The relationship does not need your theater, it needs your steadiness. Love grows in the climate of sane inner speech. If you are tempted to shout your new stance to the world, pause. There is a dignity to quiet beginnings. Oaks do not publish their growth rings. You do not owe anyone a press release. You owe your future your fidelity. Speak less about your change and you will change more. Some will ask, does this ignore practical realities? On the contrary, it instructs them. The mason still lays bricks, the farmer still turns the soil, the scholar still studies the page. But each does their work under a different sky. A defeated inner word makes labor heavy. A settled inner word makes labor clean. You will feel this difference first in your hands. The tool sits differently when you have stopped arguing with your destiny. There will be a day in these 3 when an old habit makes a sudden and noisy visit. It may come as a bill higher than expected, a comment sharper than warranted, a delay that stings. If you interpret it as proof against you, you rejoin the old procession. If you interpret it as furniture moving, you will not be disturbed. Answer with a sentence that fits your end and carry on. You are not required to win an argument with the storm. You are required to keep your inner roof intact. Let us go even closer to the moment of choice. You stand at the sink, water running, a stray thought arrives, careless and familiar. Here we go again, nothing ever sticks. Catch it at once. Replace it with a sentence that has weight. Things hold for me now, my changes last. Feel the click in the chest when a sentence fits. That click is your sign that the subconscious has accepted the order. You will learn to recognize it the way a violinist recognizes when a string is tuned. Suppose you fear that speaking from the end will make you complacent. The opposite is true. When a thing is truly settled in you, you will find yourself taking precise action without the fatigue of second guessing. You will call when the window is warm. You will rest when rest would multiply your power. You will decline when a bright distraction would tax the soul. This is prudence, not passivity. Scriptures call it wisdom. Train your inner ear to prefer gratitude over commentary. Commentary is cheap and endless. Gratitude is brief and potent. Thank you for my finished outcome is a door that opens without squeaking. Walk through it many times a day. Gratitude is not a performance for a watching deity. It is the nervous system learning to stand in the climate of good without flinching. You may ask, what if I live among those who recite the old weather all day? Then let your answers be gentle and few. I understand. And within you add, yet my life is ordered by a higher law. You do not correct them, you correct yourself. A sovereign does not knock on every door to persuade the village of the harvest. The sovereign plants, tends, and gathers. In time the village notices. If you fear arrogance, remember humility is not smallness. Humility is accuracy. It is accurate to speak in harmony with what you have accepted in God. It is accurate to refuse sentences that slander your future. The soul shrinks under false modesty. Stand upright and speak justly within, and your outer demeanor will retain softness without surrendering strength. When the evening of the third day approaches, treat it as a threshold. Tidy your space. Put your phone aside earlier than usual. Write one paragraph as the completed self, in present tense, no fanfare. Read it once quietly. Then let the body rest, while the mind holds one simple line of gratitude. As you drift, imagine the feeling of a small administrative task completed by life on your behalf. A paper filed, a ledger balanced, a signature in your favor. Tiny images like this signal to the deep mind that order is advancing. If you wake in the night, do not reach for a blue glow. Reach for your line and repeat it once. Then turn towards sleep as a child turns toward a trusted guardian. Your subconscious does its best work when not supervised by worry. The morning after the third day may look ordinary. Let it. The proof is not in spectacle, but in the fact that you keep choosing from the new naturalness without effort. Soon the world will deliver its acknowledgments. Sometimes they arrive as letters, sometimes as lifted burdens, sometimes as a human face changed toward you in an hour. Receive them without drama. A bowed head is enough. Do not confuse momentum with mania. A surge of inner power is not permission to spend indiscriminately, to announce grand plans, to uproot every routine. Keep craftsmanship. Pay what you owe. Keep your appointments. Close drawers. A life that bears fruit is a life in order. Your inner word loves a tidy room. If a memory rises to accuse you, practice revision on the spot. See yourself handling that past moment now with the grace you lacked then. Feel the relief in your shoulders. Let the new scene replace the old one like fresh pigment laid over a faded wall. When the heart believes the revision, shame loosens its grip and usefulness returns. What of prayer? Your inner conversation is prayer, in tone rather than volume. Pray without ceasing means to hold the state, not to chatter. Let your prayer be a sentence so honest you could whisper it in an empty chapel without embarrassment. Then live as if it has been heard, because it has. The hearing is in the adoption of the state itself. What of work? Do your work well. Put excellence where others put excuses. The world is starved for competence joined to calm. As your inner word steadies, your hands will want to match it. Clean the tool you once left dirty. Return the message you once ignored. Lay the brick flush. Balancing books and sweeping floors are sacraments when done by a person who has ceased to argue with their calling. If you must measure, measure only this. How quickly do I return when I drift? Speed of return is the true metric of mastery. You will drift. Everyone does. Saints drift and kings drift and mothers drift. The difference is that the practiced mind returns before the old tone can build a case. What of the future beyond these 3 days? You will not be finished. You will be established. From that establishment you may choose a new end or deepen the one you hold. You are not racing. You are reigning. Reigning is quiet. It makes few gestures and many decisions. Ask a final hard question and answer it without flinching. What have I been unwilling to say to myself because I feared it would obligate me to act? Say it now. I am the kind of person who finishes. I am the kind of person who keeps my word. I am the kind of person who carries abundance with sobriety. Feel the solemnity of vows. Take them inwardly and watch your calendar, your wallet, your replies, all come into alignment. Do not despise small confirmations. A stranger's courtesy, a solved snag, a found receipt, a peaceful hour where anxiety once feasted. These are stitches in a strong garment. Wear it a while before you ask for ornament. Foundation first, adornment later. And if someone dear to you cannot understand your new steadiness, love them without inviting their weather into your house. You can offer shelter without removing your roof. Many will come to prefer your climate and visit more often. Some will choose their storms. Bless them and close your door gently.